Have you ever prayed with everything in you and felt like heaven went quiet? Not just quiet for a day. Quiet when you were scared. Quiet when you needed direction. Quiet when you were trying to do the right thing. Quiet when your heart was already tired. And somewhere in that silence, a painful question starts to form. God, are you still there? Here is the truth we have to hold on to. God's silence is not always God's absence. Sometimes the quiet place is not where faith dies. Sometimes it is where faith learns to listen differently. The Bible never asks us to pretend that silence does not hurt. David prayed, "How long, Lord?" That is not the prayer of someone pretending everything is fine. That is the cry of someone who loves God, trusts God, and still feels forgotten. In Psalm 22, the cry becomes even heavier. My God, why have you forsaken me?" Those words are not shallow doubt. They are honest pain brought into the presence of God. That matters. Because if you feel like God has been quiet, you are not the first faithful person to feel that way. Abraham waited. Joseph waited. David waited. Habakkuk waited. Martha and Mary waited. The disciples waited through the silence of Saturday before the resurrection morning. Silence is not strange territory for the people of God. It is often part of the path. But let's be honest. When God feels silent, it rarely feels spiritual. It feels personal. It can feel like rejection. It can feel like punishment. It can feel like maybe you prayed wrong, or maybe you are not close enough, or maybe God is answering everyone else but you. And the enemy loves to fill silence with accusation. He whispers, "If God loved you, He would have answered by now. If God saw you, this would have changed already. If God was near, you would feel Him." But feelings are not always faithful witnesses. A dark room does not mean the sun has stopped shining. A quiet teacher does not mean the lesson is over. A waiting season does not mean God has walked away. One of the clearest pictures of this is in John 11. Lazarus was sick. Mary and Martha sent word to Jesus. They did the right thing. They brought the need to the right person. But Jesus did not come immediately. From their side of the story, it looked like delay. It looked like silence. It looked like absence. And by the time Jesus arrived, Lazarus had died. Martha said what many hurting hearts have thought. "Lord, if you had been here." That sentence carries grief. It carries confusion. It carries love mixed with disappointment. "Lord, if you had been here, this would not have happened." But Jesus was not late because He did not care. He was not silent because He was powerless. He was not absent because He forgot them. The delay was not the end of the story. It was the setting for a greater revelation. Jesus stood before the tomb and called Lazarus out. What felt like silence became resurrection ground. This is where wisdom begins. We often measure God's presence by how quickly He changes our circumstances, but God often measures the moment by what He is forming in us. Silence can expose what we have been leaning on. Silence can reveal whether our faith is built only on answers or on God Himself. Silence can teach us to seek His face, not just His hand. Silence can slow us down enough to hear what noise was covering. That does not make the waiting painless, but it gives the waiting meaning. When a seed is buried, the ground is silent. But silence does not mean nothing is happening. Under the soil, life is beginning in hidden places. Faith often grows the same way, not always in the loud breakthrough, sometimes in the hidden obedience, the quiet prayer, the tearful worship, the decision to trust God again tomorrow. So what do you do when God feels silent? First, tell him the truth. Do not dress up your pain. Do not pray fake prayers. God is not offended by honest lament. Lament is pain that refuses to run away from God. Return to what God has already said. Keep walking the next faithful step. And remember, Jesus entered silence too. At the cross, Jesus cried the words of Psalm 22. But the cross was not proof that the Father had lost control. It was the place where God was doing his deepest work. And the silence of Saturday did not stop the resurrection of Sunday. So if God feels silent right now, do not assume he is gone. Keep walking the living line. Because sometimes heaven is quiet, not because God has left, but because resurrection is being prepared in a place you cannot see yet. And that is where wisdom begins.